we have to talk about diet again, my friends. Welcome back to the forest. Common sense based environment for a hopefully common sense based talk. Probably a very long talk, and one of the most difficult ones that I ever have to make. I know this for a fact already because I'm trying to record this for the 5th time already. Couldn't get it done the way I wanted it to do all these tries before, so yeah, here we are again, trying again. I've got my notes here. I really want to try to stay on track this time, because one of the main problems that I have with this kind of talk is that I always would start rambling into some direction, some different direction that I actually want to go with this. And the reason for that is that all these topics that I want to scratch here a little bit during this talk are actually very closely intertwined and are connected with each other. So it's really hard to not go into one direction, simply start rambling around that. So that's why I essentially gonna try to scratch only the surface of all of it. And if you're having any questions, just let me know down below. This subject is something, I mean, there's there's matter for tons of videos in there, okay, tons of upcoming videos, future videos. But essentially, to keep a very, very long story very, very short, first of all, I have to declare officially here that I'm no longer vegan. I'm not following a vegan diet anymore. I'm experimenting with diet again. I've experimented with diet again for the last couple of months actually. You already saw me doing my fasting stuff. This is where I basically showed you how I do it when I don't eat anything at all. Sometimes I don't even drink something during my dry fasting experiments, but I also did a lot of water fasts that I did basically undocumented. So I was collecting some experience with this topic, which I think is very important to understand the big picture of nutrition in the first place, because eating all the time without fasting is not natural, okay? And not everything that's natural is good. I know this is the appeal to nature fallacy, but not everything that's natural is bad as well, okay? So we are adapted still to nature a lot, and I think that in our past we were forced to fast a lot, and still in the time where we weren't forced to fast anymore, like for example for 2000 years ago or something, when the ancient Greeks had their time, and this is actually 3000 years or something like that, fasting was very known as a very powerful health thing, you know. So you could heal a lot of stuff with fasting, and this is not a coincidence. We are adapted to fasting from a natural point of view. So this is how I do it. I depicted in these videos, hopefully, how I do it when I don't eat anything. Now, what I haven't talked a lot about in recent times is what I actually eat when I do eat. And yeah, the first message here that I want to get across is that I'm no longer vegan. And this is important to me because I still get messages on especially older videos from people, hey man, it's so awesome that you're vegan, that you're pushing this vegan message. I've tried it as well, and I've seen better recovery, I've seen better mental clarity and stuff, and that's awesome, okay? I don't want to hold you back from experimenting yourself, because this is, I think, so important. I also discovered the individuality of diet. I would think that, you know, diet is basically the same for everybody, but that's not true. Diet is not the same for everybody. It's different amongst different individuals, and also different amongst different races especially, okay? Because different people live in different geographical entities, and there are different ideal diets for the equator and for the North Pole, okay? You can't eat the same thing on the equator and on the North Pole and expect to have similar health outcomes from that. This is just silly to believe that. The same goes for summer and winter, okay? If you're living in a seasonal environment, the best health promoting diet is probably not going to be the same all the time. Towards the winter, you're going to eat more fat based, you know, we want to get in this nutrient density, and you're going to probably also eat more animal based in the winter, because there is nothing else around in the winter, okay? Nothing is growing in the winter. All these things, man, all these things. A lot of common sense, very simple stuff. So for me, the main event that got me experimenting again was this year's Tijuana trip. Okay, for those of you who are interested, maybe some of you are already so disappointed and so pissed off that I'm no longer vegan, and you already clicked off this video, you already unsubscribed. But for those of you who are still sticking around and want to hear what thoughts are going into that, it all started with this year's Tijuana trip when it was super cold again. It snowed like 4 times, which is really unusual for the area. Really cold season. And I was spending a lot of time outdoors, a lot of tries on the projects, burning like 5,000 calories or something like that in a day. And I could not keep up with my nutrition. I simply could not keep up. I was eating my usual staples all the time, as usual, potatoes with vegetables, rice with vegetables, pasta with vegetables, and fruit during the day, and fruit for breakfast, and also my nuts and seeds and avocados and stuff in the evening. But I would literally have to smash down so much food to make up for these calories that it started to create some problems, create some issues in my digestive tract, okay, in my digestion. So I would always have this incredibly distended belly, and I would have gas and stuff like that. It's not good to overeat all the time like this when it comes to food volume. And we are not designed to eat nutrient diluted food, okay? We are designed to eat nutrient dense food. And guess what? There's a reason why you are satiated really, really quickly when you introduce some animal fats and some animal products again into your diet, because these foods are very dense, especially when it comes to certain nutrients. And there we are stepping into the territory of animal fats, saturated fats and cholesterol, and fat-soluble vitamins especially, which are much more easily taken up from animal products than from plants. We could also have a little bit of a discussion about protein, okay, which is also much easier assimilated from animal products than from plants. Although I don't really think that this is a main advantage of animal foods over plant foods, because I still think that protein is highly overrated. But so much to go in the details when it comes to the nutrients, okay? So what I did essentially, I reintroduced animal foods like butter and eggs, and especially actually only butter and eggs, because these were the only 2 things that I could get in an organic form down there in Spain. So I would basically supplement my normal diet with these animal foods, and I could cut down the food volume that I have to eat in half, totally, okay? I would just cut down the rice and vegetables in more than half, and would eat like, 2-3 eggs and a bit of butter on top of that. And man, I was completely satiated again. I was not having this super big belly all the time. I would not have any digestive problems again. I would not experience this deep and inner cold all the time as well from the outside cold, okay? My body would get these nutrient-dense foods, these nutrients again, to create warmth from within, and I could feel that on the outdoors. There is a reason why the Inuit up there are eating a lot of animal fats and stuff, okay, in their traditional diet, because it gives them this power to withstand this extremely harsh environment. And this is also something that I used as an orientation for my dietary adaptations during the time when I was living in this very cold environment. So I realized, the healthiest diet is not the same everywhere on the planet, it's not the same amongst different people, because different people have different gut microbiomes. It's probably not so much the difference in our bodies, in our physical bodies that we have on the outside, but it's very different. I mean, people are differing in the terms of gut microbiome that they have, and some people are, they cannot tolerate fruit sugar, for example. I mean, in my opinion, it's very unlikely that somebody is very intolerant to fruit sugar from the body side, okay? But it might well be that your gut microbiome is unable to process that stuff, and therefore it's creating problems for your body. So the different people have different gut microbiomes. The same diet is not always, it's not equally healthy for all the people. And it's not definitely not equally healthy for different tribes, for different people who are living in an original environment. And you would also see that all original tribes, it doesn't matter if you look to the North Pole or to the equator, in the desert or in the jungle, they all have some sort of animal products in their diet. And this is for a good reason. We are not designed to eat these undense foods all the time, these plant foods, at least not solely, okay? We are omnivores. This is one big fallacy that vegans always spew out. We are not herbivores, okay? There's a lot of people who want to make you believe that we are herbivores. What a bullshit. If you are eating plants, they get digested to some degree, and you're gonna poo them out in a digested form. And if you eat meat, then you're gonna digest it just as well, maybe even better than plants, okay? And you're gonna poo it out in some sort of digestive form. So we are definitely omnivores. If you're taking a closer look actually on mammals, you will see that actually almost any mammal is an omnivore. Even freaking deer, okay, in the wild, if they can get their hands on it, then they would eat some animal products, okay? They would eat these worms, and they would eat some small little bird that fell on the ground and stuff like that, okay? If they can get their hands on it, they eat animal products as well. Just like the carnivores, like tigers or lions, these cats, they sometimes eat grass, okay, to extract some sort of stuff from that, and then they crap it out again. And the world is not black and white when it comes to diet. There's rarely a 100% carnivore out there, and there's rarely a 100% herbivore out there, and we are certainly omnivores, okay? We can digest both. And now, where on the spectrum we reside is yet again, this is another question, and this is also something that you have to very likely find out yourself for your own body, because as I said, you have a different gut microbiome than I have, and you have a different geographical territory than I have. You have different seasons and all that stuff. All this plays a role into diet, okay? I was not taking this into account enough when I was still a hardcore vegan, and I thought, okay, I push the vegan message because this is the only truth and stuff. Not so anymore. So now I want to say here real quickly that I don't have intentions to bash the vegan diet as so many people do, especially at the moment, because at the moment, the carnivore diet is rising, is in popularity a lot. It's very trendy, especially on YouTube as well. At the moment, veganism is actually taking a huge hit at the moment, because a lot of people are coming out and leaving the vegan diet behind, and doing other crazy stuff. Now, if I would have to describe the way I eat now, I would say it's much more traditional, okay? It's much more moving towards a more and more traditional way of eating. There's a reason why traditions have evolved over time, okay? And traditions are not bad. You can learn a lot from the traditions, and this goes not only for your general lifestyle, but also for your diet. And this is what I'm moving more and more towards, to a more traditional diet. In the meantime, of course, I already experimented with other stuff as well, okay? I didn't restrict myself only to eggs and butter, which was the only stuff that I had organically available down there. I'm living in Austria, as you know, and we have a very, very awesome culture of food production, actually, okay? You can get your hands on super high quality, organically raised meat in Austria. And especially in an environment like here, okay, on the countryside, I don't have to travel more than 1 kilometer to get across a farm where they raise their animals with care, and where they can free range around. It's all organic and stuff, I mean, it's no wonder that a movement like veganism is so city-based, okay? Because in a big city, people are so detached from what they're actually eating. They only get their food from supermarkets. And let me tell you something, if you're getting something from from supermarkets, anything at all, okay, it's already less in quality than you would get it from directly, locally from the farm. And that goes for everything. It goes for all the vegetables, it goes for all the fruit, it goes for all the meats and animal products, because this stuff has to travel, okay? It has to be packaged, it has to be pasteurized, it has to be made so that it can endure a longer time, so that it can be transported to the supermarket, so that it can be bought by the city dwellers, okay, essentially. So what you get in a city from a supermarket is already worse than you can get it on the countryside, and this has to do with the travel and stuff like that. So anyway, bottom line, people in the cities are very detached from food, and they think if they buy any meat, it's all this bad cruelty, factory farmed, raised stuff that they've seen the videos of, you know, and that they have been indoctrinated to believe that all of this is coming from that. No, what a bullshit. What a bullshit. This is not true. If you're moving out into the countryside and spend some time there in a really rural environment, you know, where people still grow their own food, you will find out that all the ethical and environmental arguments for veganism basically go out the window in this environment. Now, I can very well understand that overseas in the Americas, where there's crazy food production going on and crazy stuff going on really when it comes to animal products, it's a different story, okay? I would be much more aware there how the stuff is raised, because man, it's horrible there, okay? But this is not the case here where I live. So for me, these arguments do not really apply anymore, okay? They are not really valid anymore. Which leads me to the last and most important argument, and that is the health argument. I was a health vegan from the very beginning. Actually, I was a health vegetarian even before that for already 7 years. I started my diet journey when I was like 13 years old or something, basically when I started my athletics journey, because back then I started with Taekwondo and kickboxing. Really soon I would get into Shaolin Kung Fu as well, and then really soon I would get into climbing. And I realized very quickly that if you want to push it to your limit, okay, if you want to reach your potential in some sort of athleticism, then you need to have really good health. Why? Because pushing it to your limit in some sort of athleticism is actually not healthy. This is another very, very important thing that you have to understand. If you're seeing all these top elite climbers pulling off 9Bs and stuff with crazy low body fat percentage, I mean, this is already beyond the realm of health, okay? They are pushing it to a limit where it's long not healthy for their body anymore, and especially for the females, man. It's really not good to see all these females at these low body fat percentages, man. Now, depending on your genetics, your body can take it more or less, okay? This depends on the person. Some people can endure it better than others. But in essence, the main message here, and this is also true for me already, I believe, the level of athleticism that I am at for my body is probably not healthy anymore. So I realize, okay, I have to have exceptional health from within to withstand these bad health habits of moving of such a high athleticism level all the time, okay? And in order to have good health from within, one of the most important contributing factors when it comes to that is diet. Yeah? And this is also when I realized 1.5 years ago, when I changed the name of this channel from Vegan Rock Climbing to Manny the Monkey, if diet is at the center of your life, you're already doing something wrong, okay? You're already doing something wrong, because diet is only the foundation. Diet lays only the foundation for exceptional health. And exceptional health is only the foundation for something else that you want to pursue in your life, okay? Maybe you want to be an exceptional drawer. Then you have to have exceptional eyesight, and you have to have this feeling for color and stuff, and therefore you have to have exceptional health. Maybe you want to be an exceptional rock climber, okay? And you got to be aware that these inputs, these extreme inputs on your body are actually unhealthy, and you need to have exceptional health from within to withstand that. So as you can see, whatever exceptional result that you want to produce in your life, it's going to require health from the bottom as a foundation from that, and health from the bottom as a foundation needs diet. Diet is the one probably most important environmental factor in your life that contributes to health. And of course there's other stuff as well, like fresh air, a healthy social life, a healthy living space, in general. Cities, man, they are not good. They are not good to live at the long term. That's another story. So if diet is at the center of your life, then you're already doing something wrong. If your whole YouTube channel, for example, centers around diet, then you're already doing something wrong. That's why I wanted to remove the diet aspect actually from this channel a little bit more and focus on the results that I get. And I tell you something, if you're getting results, good results in the long run, then people are going to be interested in your diet more and more automatically, okay? If you're only pushing diet all the time and you never show any results that you get with your diet, actually, nobody is really interested in that stuff. At least I'm not interested in that stuff. So that's why I changed this aspect a lot as well. So back to health. For vegans, and also for me, I cannot exclude myself from that. For a long time, I thought that the vegan diet is the healthiest thing to do. I was a health vegan, okay? This was my main goal with the vegan diet, to create this foundation of health, to be able to perform exceptionally on an athletic level. Now, I had to realize that now, and especially with fasting, it makes a lot of sense. The vegan diet is probably not the healthiest in the long run, because you're developing these digestive issues if you're a really hardcore athlete, because you have to smash down all this food volume all the time, and this stuff is hard to digest, okay? It's really fibrous. Plants are not unguilty, okay? They do create anti-digestive substances in their bodies to protect themselves from grazers, okay? They can't run away like an animal. They have to have other means of defense. So they synthesize these substances in their bodies, and these substances are going to be harsh on your body if you're eating a lot of these foods. We are not designed to break this stuff down. We don't have like 4 stomachs, stuff like that, okay? With an incredible bacterial load which is able to actually break this stuff down and convert it into, guess what? Fats. To be able to be taken up by the body is also something that I've learned, okay? All these ruminants, they are actually having a high-fat lifestyle. I would always think, okay, they are high carbers, they're eating all these carbs all the time. Yes, they eat their carbs, but they have an incredibly awesome digestive flora, bacterial flora down there, which breaks that stuff down and actually creates fats, okay? And these fats are taken up by their bodies, and that's why they can generate such huge bodies around this digestive apparatus, which is actually creating fats for them all the time. So all this stuff, man, moving towards a more traditional diet is now what I think is the way to go for me now. And especially with the fasting, guess what? Eating animal products from time to time allows you to fast. I would never fast before that. I wouldn't even have the idea to fast before eating animal products. I tell you what, because you're hungry all the time when you're eating only plants. Okay, if you're eating a banana, you're gonna have more hungry for the next banana in a half an hour than you would than as if you would have eaten nothing at all. Okay, so these really quick sugars and stuff, they are not natural to our bodies. I have the feeling now, at least not in those amounts that I would eat, And I can cut all these foods in half now. The rice, cut to a third, basically. The bananas, cut to a third. I don't need all these calories anymore. And guess what? This also is very important when it comes to environmentalism, to the environmental aspect of veganism, because this rice does not grow here in Austria. These bananas do not grow here in Austria. They have to be transported from far away to here. And this all costs energy. This is not good for the environment, and I can reduce on that now, okay, and substitute my diet in as well with locally grown animal products, which do not take so much resources to produce and actually are beneficial to the land here, and contribute to the biodiversity by creating different territories, terrains for living space and stuff like that. All these meadows that have to be upheld by the grazing animals and stuff like that, they harbor an exceptional biodiversity for themselves as well. So this stuff is all important, all of these things I do realize more and more now. And yeah, the main thing is, since I increased my animal product intake, I actually had the feeling, wow, I can start fasting, okay? I can actually start fasting. And guess what? It's so much easier to actually gain weight for the next fasting experiment when you eat animal products. This is super hard. Vegans would always have this as an argument for veganism. Hey, you can eat all these foods and you won't gain any weight, you will even lose weight. Yes, but this is not because what you're eating is necessarily so healthy. It is because it's very void of nutrients, of certain nutrients at least, okay? So of course you're gonna lose weight with time. And I tell you something, losing weight is not necessarily a good thing. Back in the days, everybody would know that, okay? Traditionally, it's not good to lose weight over unintentionally, basically, okay? If you're super fat and you want to lose weight via fasting to get a healthier body, of course, that's good. But if you're eating all the time and losing weight, well, then this is a sign that your diet is not very nutrient dense. And again, we are not evolved, I believe, to eat nutrient undense foods all the time, okay? We don't have 4 stomachs and stuff like that. We have a very simple, very acidic stomach, which is very well suited to break down animal products, when you're looking at it from an honest perspective. This is also something that becomes very clear when we look at our close relatives in the great ape spectrum there, who have very much bigger stomachs and stuff like that. But then, anyway, I'm already getting off track again. I think the healthiest diet, especially if you're a high performance athlete and stuff, is probably not the vegan diet. And it allows you to fast better. It allows you also to do things like 1 meal a day, okay? Because you can go the distance without food if you're eating properly when you eat. Again, the body likes contrast, okay? The body likes feast and the body likes fast. Feasting, fasting. It's not good to eat all the time, and especially when you're fruitarian, these fruitarian-based vegans with their 30 bananas a day or something, eating 30 bananas throughout the day, always spiking their insulin. This is causing crazy amounts of inflammation in the body. This is all not good. This is all not good, man. You want to have contrast also in your eating habits. You want to have periods of feasting and periods of fasting. And if you're taking a look at ancient religions and original religions, I'm scratching myself all the time here because I'm already bitten from 20 mosquitoes in the meantime. But anyway, if you look at these ancient tribes and religions, they all would have periods of feasting and fasting. And they all would eat their animal products, man, which would allow them to go longer distances without food, And this is how it should be, I think, for our physiology. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap this up here real quickly. Essence, bottom line, I don't eat a vegan diet anymore. I'm no longer vegan. And for those of you who want to be very exact, I'm no longer vegan for a couple of months already because I started experimenting back then on the Zero Runner trip, if I'm totally honest with you. And I don't want to be praised for something that I'm not, okay? people are still sending me messages, especially on all the videos, that yeah, it's awesome, I tried veganism as well for myself and I would get all these awesome results in recovery and mental clarity. I don't want to bash veganism as well, okay? I don't want you to stay away from veganism as well. Experiment with it, okay? Experimental things is so important when it comes to nutrition. But if you're developing troubles on a vegan diet, don't ignore them and think, oh, it's detox and I just need to do it a little bit longer and then it will turn out good, then it will turn out well, especially if you're doing everything right, okay? If you're eating a whole foods plant-based diet already. If you're developing problems with that, don't be afraid to step out of this dogma again and start experimenting again towards the kingdom of the animal foods, okay? Because we are omnivores. Truth is that we are omnivores. We can digest both worlds, okay? If you eat a plant, it will come out digested, at least to some degree. If you're eating an animal food, it will come out digested, at least to some degree. So we're not herbivores, definitely. We're probably also not pure carnivores, and these sort of black and white things actually don't exist in free nature anyway, because they're even the most carnivorous animal eats some plants from time to time, and even the most herbivore animal eats some worms, and if they can get their hands on it, they would eat small birds and stuff like that. There's countless videos on YouTube of herbivores who are eating actually meat, okay, from time to time. Look for it, research, okay, do your research. So it's not black and white. It's not all black and white when it comes to nutrition. Now, a couple of things that I want to add here real quickly. I wrote a book back then, which with my take on diet, health, and weight loss, and I reread it, and I have to say I don't necessarily disagree with any of the points that I made in the book. This book is still very good. It depicts my opinion about their diet still very well. And I was probably already thinking about, is this really the right thing? But I was still going, you know, and I was also propagating a meal plan in that book, and that was solely vegan, okay, because that was the way how I ate back then. And this is, of course, something that I cannot agree nowadays anymore with. That's why I have took my book down for now. I will rewrite it. I don't have to. I especially want to rewrite it in terms of fasting and in terms of animal products, the role of animal products that animal products have when it comes to athletic performance and when it comes to fasting and all that. And then I will update my book, so to say. And I also want to say that if you're a Patreon for a longer time and you get this reward that you have gotten my book for free, which is one of the rewards that I have for my Patreons, you will also get the new updated version of my book for free, of course. So that's what I want to say when it comes to this. Will I delete all my vegan rock climbing, all the old vegan videos back from then? No, of course not. I won't. It's very important, I think, to be aware where you're coming from, okay? I don't want to delete these things because I want to still be able to look at me back then and want to have the comparison to nowadays, okay? I think I'm much more mature nowadays, and I've learned so much more when it comes to diet from all this self-experimentation and all this research that I did also, it's interesting to keep in mind where you're coming from. But I'm gonna leave some sort of comment down the most important ones, at the bottom of the most important ones, to declare that I'm not vegan anymore, okay? Because again, I don't want to be praised for something that I'm not. People are writing me still, yeah, it's so awesome that you're pushing this message, and it's so awesome that you're pushing veganism and stuff. I'm sorry, not anymore. I know a lot of people out there are going to be very disappointed about that as well, but if I would keep continuing my experiments and I would not tell you this from now on, this would be simply dishonest. And I was always honest on this channel with everything, that I go through, and I'm not willing to give that up for a dogma which is probably not worth it anyways, okay? So here I have to declare, sorry, but I'm not vegan anymore. I'm not convinced anymore that it is the 100% right way to eat for us. It is a lot more complex than that, man, and fasting plays a big role there as well when it comes to health. Yeah, that wraps it up for this episode, I would say. I have to get out of this forest because I'm getting eaten by mosquitoes in here. But I wanted to pick this environment despite that for this talk, because nature is just, you can focus on common sense and rationalism really well in nature, and especially in the forest, which is such a quiet and natural environment where the world is still proper in here. Everything works so well together and everything is in balance, so it's balanced so nicely. So it's really cool to think rationally, and I hope this came across so far in my past videos already. But I'm actually a very rational person, and I do base all my actions. I try to base all my actions upon reasoning, okay? And so also with this diet thing. Again, I don't want to hammer it too much because, as I said, diet is not at the center of my life. It's a very important part of my life, but I don't think it should be the center of anyone's life, okay? Diet is only the foundation for your health, and health is only the foundation for the other greater things that you want to create in your life, okay? That being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would be very glad to hear your opinion down below. Please drop a like if you liked it, and drop a dislike if you disliked it. I have no problem with that as well. I hope you're having a great one. If you're having any questions when it comes to all of this stuff, I still haven't figured out things 100%, okay? If you're reintroducing these foods, and especially with a 1 meal a day regimen, especially combined with training, and with regular fasting here and there, it becomes really interesting in terms of food combining as well, and when it comes to digestive health as well. So I haven't still figured out things 100%, but I'm trying my best to do that in the next couple of weeks and months. And maybe we can have one or the other Q&A about that stuff, one or the other video about that stuff. So drop some questions down below if you have them. Thank you for listening to the very end of this video. Thanks for your interest, and I think I'm gonna see you soon in the next one. Hope you're doing fine. Keep crushing. Bye.